I'm so proud of myself. I printed out and read everything that you sent.
Wow. There was a lot.
Yes.
That's what I got to do is get my printer fixed.
Hey, Russ, I don't live that far from you. If you need hard copies of stuff, let me know.
Yeah, I kind of wish I had the minutes. I read them, but sometimes I got to read it a couple of times, but I wish I had the copy in front of me. You know?
Okay,
Anyway,
ladies
let
and
me know
gentlemen,
and I can.
am going to open our meeting at 7 o'clock, and Linda is going to read a statement.
Yes. Following the governor's restrictions on public meetings, this meeting of the Conservation Commission is being held virtually using zoom.com for remote participation only. The public may access it following the instructions in this meeting's agenda posted on the town website.
Okay, thank you. So let's start by considering the minutes from our May 14th meeting. Has everyone had a chance to read them?
I did.
Like,
Does everyone find them satisfactory, or does anyone have a concern?
I have no concern.
I'm all set with it.
Agreed.
Can someone make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented?
Make a motion that we accept the minutes as presented.
I'll second it.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Robin Harrington, aye.
Good job.
Russ Missoula, aye.
Liam Cregan, aye.
Annie Jakes, aye. Okay. Liam, would you like to give us a report on the Sumner Mountain CR?
Yeah, sure. So last Tuesday, I believe it was, I met up with Chuck and Charlie on Sumner Mountain Road, and we walked mostly the borders of the property. We took a look at the vernal pool. Chuck was really intent on hanging some new tags for the outside of for the border essentially of the property. So we walked about half of the border with Chuck, mostly the side that was closer to the houses, and we were particularly concerned. He was concerned about clarifying the border near his house because there had been, I think, a violation in the past, or accidental violation, where someone doing yard work had, for him, had put yard waste within the conservation restriction. So Charlie and Chuck kind of clarified the boundary together. And then we continued around, just Charlie and myself flagging the boundaries as we went, so Chuck could put boundary tags on the side that he hadn't yet. So yeah, it was a great visit. We saw some pink lady slippers up on the ledges there, so that was really exciting.
Nice.
And some wood frog tadpoles in the vernal pool.
Ooh.
Good. Well, I'm glad the boundaries will be marked at the end of this. I think that's a great thing for any of these CRs, just so it's really clear, you know, what's within the CR and what's not. So thanks for being part of that.
Yeah, it was fun, and it's really well marked along Cole's land, but
Right.
it wasn't as well marked.
I remember that, and there's the Amherst watershed land that is well marked as well. So, well, good.
Did everybody have a chance to read the report?
I did.
Yes.
Yes.
So once again, I think Chuck would like us to come and remove his invasive species. Is that right, Liam?
Yes, there's a particular patch of there's garlic mustard, and I think it's honeysuckle near this pit. There's like a sand pit. Yeah.
Do you think it's a manageable thing for a couple of us to go down there and pull that out in a couple of hours someday?
Yeah, it might even take less time than that. There was not a lot of garlic mustard, and Charlie was saying that it's unlikely that it will spread into the CR because it's kind of acidic oak soil, which is unfavorable for some of these invasives to encroach inward.
Mm-hmm.
But it would be good to nip them in the bud, and it probably wouldn't take very long.
Okay, well.
I'd be happy to help.
I'd
If
be
you-
willing-
if
I'd be
you
willing
pulled
to
it-
do that as well. I'm
If
sorry,
you-
Russ, what did you say?
If you pulled that stuff out, what would you do? Put it in like a plastic bag to let it die off, or because wouldn't it spread again if you pulled it out and throw it on the ground?
Yep, we'd put it in a plastic bag and put the plastic bag in the sun.
Okay. I'd be interested in following along on that trip.
Okay, well, let's tuck that away for something to do. It'd be great to pull out the garlic mustard before it sets seed.
Agreed.
Okay, so Linda has prepared us a very lengthy list of new items and updates.
So I just, before we close on the monitoring visit, because you had already voted to hire Charlie Eisman to do the work, I did submit his invoice for $325 to be paid.
Great, thank you for
Okay.
doing that.
You're welcome.
And
Okay.
can you follow up with the letter to the property owners?
We usually do not do a post letter if there's, I guess, yeah, okay, yes, we do, sorry,
We do.
yes, yep.
We do, and I think we agreed last year when there was a little kerfuffle about this, that we would include a statement in the letter that said something to the effect of, and if the homeowner or if the property owner would like a copy of the full
Right.
report, they may request it.
You bet, got it, thank you.
Liam, did Chuck seem cheerful?
Yeah, we enjoyed our time together, and he talked a little bit about his work on the zoning board. I did not know he was on the zoning board, and his work at UMass. So it was nice. We got to know each other a little bit, and he seemed happy with the visit.
Good. Okay. Linda, let me know when we may start moving down the list.
Yes, there's no times for anything in particular, so we
Okay,
can
I
just.
just want to make sure you're able to keep up with them.
I am ready. I would like to report that, I know you can't see it, but with support, with some great support, I now have I have an external monitor, a 24-inch external monitor. So I am happily typing the minutes while you work, while you
Okay.
talk.
Okay,
Great.
My big, yes, it's changed my life. I just installed it on Monday, and I can't tell you what a difference it's making in my efficiency and ease of
Good.
seeing from a 13-inch laptop monitor.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway,
Well,
I'm ready.
Tell us if we need to slow down, because I
Yeah.
know sometimes we
Yes,
get ahead of what you can capture on the keyboard there.
thank you.
Okay, 37 Shore Drive, Brooks, site visit follow-up.
Okay, so I'll just start to say for the record that the office received an inquiry from a abutter, Aaron Addison, saying that there was a tree cutting and bulldozer activity at 37 Shore Drive, which is what what I acted upon in terms of setting up a site visit to go down and see what was happening. And that's what Russ and Robin did. So over to you.
Well, we went down and we stayed on the road, but we were making observations and taking photos. And at 37, we didn't really see anything.
You even had your binoculars out.
That's right. I brought my binoculars. I'm like trying to see behind the house.
Yeah.
We even drove sort of around I forget the name of the road,
Fine.
but we,
Fine.
where you could see the backs of the houses and took pictures from over there, and like there
Nothing.
was nothing really. And then Linda had mentioned, I guess to Russ or whatever, oh, remember 57 had stuff that this abutter was describing, but we'd already approved that. And so we went down and actually took a peek and looked, and yes, there was evidence of a bulldozer having been there. Trees were cut down and they left the stump as requested. And there was a lot of work done, but it seemed to be compliant with what we had asked. So
then was it a mistake with the address?
that's what we're thinking.
It seems that's the case.
Well,
We
good.
went down on that other road, Pine, and we went and got a good view of behind. Sorry, the dogs. Hey, you two, hang on 1 minute. Come on. Now, or no trees. Oh, there's something. They like pizza. So we went down and we looked off of Pine and we took some pictures from the back of 57. And you can see where the bulldozer was all over there, and they cut looked like another tree, and there was wood chips, a big, huge pile of chips and stuff where you could see it was there. But then we were on the backside, staying on the road only, looking, and we couldn't see nothing that was done. I mean, there was a tree that was abutting. All it might have been a stump that they cut down because I couldn't see any sign of any trees laying anywhere or any wood chips or anything on 37. It was right close to the road where that stump, and they leveled it cut level. So I don't know if the road boss or somebody done it, but I didn't see any bulldozer tracks or anything like that. It didn't look like any activity was going on. And then that's where the binoculars came in, and we didn't miss a trick. I mean, I think that Robin looked all over and we couldn't see nothing, but we did definitely have pictures from the back of both of them.
So I need my memory refreshed. What was approved at 57 Shore?
57 Shore Drive is the cottage that Donna West purchased,
Right.
and she had a tear down building
Okay.
permit
Okay. That I remember.
and the tree cutting. Yes, and she
Okay.
sought permission from the commission. So
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, Robin and Russ, thank you for doing that.
Sure.
And now I'm going to have to embarrassingly say I still haven't gotten in touch with our Southbrook Conservation Area intern. So no update on that. Lake lowering MOU. So I know Russ was on the commission when this started. Robin and Liam, how much do you know about this project?
I don't know a lot about it, and I've been meaning to ask and get some context about it every time it comes up. So I guess now would be a good
Well,
time.
at several meetings, it's been brought up since I have joined, and I printed out and read the MOU that we just got. But that's the level of my.
Okay, so I know Russ was part of this, and so Russ, sorry to go back over old business here, but every fall, Lake Wyola has been drawn down, the lake level has been lowered, partly to protect the dam and partly to protect homeowners' retaining walls around their property, so that when the ice forms, it doesn't crash into the edges of people's property and the dam. And it turned out that this has been done without anyone ever having filed a notice of intent. And it was quite embarrassing to the Conservation Commission to realize that this just slipped through the cracks. Mark Stinson pointed this out to us. So a couple of years ago, we went through the process with, okay, Linda, you're going to have to help me. Which group at the lake?
it's the town committee, the Lake Wyola Advisory Committee, which is a
Right.
town.
So Mark Rivers, on behalf of that committee, took it upon himself to put together the notice of intent to bring the annual drawdown into compliance. And he did a great job on that. And so that happened 2 falls ago, I think.
Actually, believe it or not, it was it would have been last year, Penny, because they could only do one. No, that's not right. That's not right.
So we're at like a year and a half at this point. And
Yeah.
so anyway,
Yes, because they did, the first year was the drawdown with, before the habitat analysis, and then that was done. So yes, so there are two drawdowns have occurred under the notice, the orders. Yep.
one has occurred.
One, sorry.
One
Right.
has occurred. So,
Wait, no, two, Penny.
no, one. Well, it isn't important.
Yeah, okay.
It isn't the important.
We're in a time warp. It's okay.
The important thing is that a notice of intent was filed, and the commission wrote an order of conditions. And one of the things that's required for that notice of intent is to do a wildlife habitat evaluation, which needs to be done in the spring. And so that was done last spring after the fact. And one of the things that came out is that it was suggested that we work with the dam keeper who does the drawdown to make sure that the procedures that the dam keeper draws the lake down and then fills it back up in the spring by are in compliance with best practices on all of this. And so this MOU is an effort to capture on paper what we all agreed to. And it's, you know, it was always just the dam keeper went and did this. And I don't mean to imply at all that the dam keeper did a bad job, but it was all just done without talking with anyone or the Conservation Commission being involved or aware of this even. So I think this is a great thing. We learned some great things during the wildlife habitat evaluation, and the big change that happened is that the rate at which the lake is lowered in the fall is reduced from 3 inches a day to 2 inches a day. And that is based on some research by a doctoral student at UMass who found that if that rate is a little bit less each day, it gives all the invertebrates a chance to move from the outer edge of the lake down into the lake and and remain under the water level once the lake freezes. So anyway, this is a combination of what the commission requested and what the dam keeper needs to do. And I think it's a great improvement, and I would recommend that we accept it pretty much as it was presented to us. I did talk with Mark River, or email with Mark Rivers briefly today when I saw this, and we had a sentence in there initially that explained why the rate changed from 3 inches to 2 inches. And I would like to put that back in, because I think in 20 years when we have different people on the commission and a different dam keeper, that it's useful to have some background information about why the rate is what it is. So the other thing we talked about last fall, I think, was having adjusting the date. So the state mandate is that the drawdown needs to begin no earlier than November 1st. That's right, Linda, isn't it?
I'm pretty sure.
I think that's right. And because we adjusted the rate at which the lake draws down, which means it takes essentially another week for it to happen, we discussed allowing the dam keeper to start lowering the water level on October 25th. And I noticed that Mark Rivers took that out of the document, and he said he feels like with climate change, maybe it's not such an important thing. And there is a clause in there to allow the dam keeper to be in touch with us if it looks like, excuse me, if we're going to have an early freeze of the lake. So by a committee of 3 people, the Lake Wyola Associate Advisory Committee Chair, someone on the commission, and the dam keeper could make a decision to start a week earlier if conditions warranted. So I guess I'm okay with leaving that out.
If that, leaving which part out, Penny?
Leaving out the part that said to compensate for the change from a 3 inches per 24-hour rate to a 2 inches per 24-hour rate. The start date for the drawdown may begin on October 25th. What are you thinking, Linda?
I don't know. I thought that was important. I mean, didn't we think that was, I mean, I'm not a commissioner, but I can,
I'd leave it in there.
it seemed like that was important. And also there was a plan, we have it on our, at the bottom of the pending items to schedule, is that, you know, is for a commissioner to attend the October 2020 LWAC, Lake Wyola Advisory Committee meeting. You know, we have that on our tickler list so that we don't forget that someone needs to participate in that decision making, the timing business. And the other, there was another thread in the email today when Mark Rivers sent this out. He copied John Kinder, who is the assistant dam keeper, and Howard Kinder, who is the longtime gate and dam keeper. And John reviewed it and felt that Howard needed to look it over one more time. So there's that piece as well.
Well, we can certainly hold this over to our next meeting, you know, but I'm happy to see that Mark has reviewed it and sent it on to the dam keepers. And the one thing that the dam keeper had to add was the new procedures, because with a new change in the amount of water that is lowered, or the number of inches lowered each day, they had to adjust the operational methods to compensate for that. So I see that that is in there. So I'm happy for both the dam keeper and the assistant dam keeper to look that over and get back to us.
So we'll carry it over.
I guess we'll carry it over and wait and hear back from the Kinders.
Okay.
Shutesbury Highway Department annual project list.
Yes, I have tried. I have emailed and I have called. So I will try again. Next week maybe will be better because perhaps the paving job on Lux Pond Road will be done, you know. So I will keep at it.
Okay.
It's been tough on him because he's shorthanded on help.
They did hire a part-time person
Okay.
who has experience operating equipment. So that's been a big help. That's just an aside.
Good. Okay, 99 Sand Hill Road site visit follow-up. Robin, Liam?
Yeah, so Robin and I met up and we took a look at this. It's kind of the terminus of a drainage ditch, a roadside drainage ditch on Sand Hill Road. So the Frederick was his name, right? The property owner at 99 Sand Hill Road.
Yes,
Robin.
Frederick Steinway. Yep.
Yep. So Frederick, he's mainly concerned that I think he's mainly concerned about mosquito habitat in Tripoli becoming prevalent in his neighborhood, and then he also brought up the fact that there were, so basically the way the drainage goes underneath his driveway and then ends in this kind of stagnant pool that in some ways looks like a vernal pool, but it's artificial. And we didn't see any egg masses or anything in there. And then there's also wetland that's owned by Coles behind the stagnant pool. They don't seem meaningfully connected, and it definitely would not be habitat for spotted salamanders because it doesn't have this kind of permanent standing water in the spring. It's more of like a hummock hollow area. So the way Robin and I kind of saw it is, there isn't really a concern about this drainage ditch affecting potential amphibian breeding habitat, but maybe if there is concern about this drainage being a hazard for mosquitoes, like breeding triply carrying mosquitoes, then Frederick would need to probably talk to his neighbor about having the drainage continue under his neighbor's driveway and then kind of keep flowing, and that he could potentially do that. But so that's kind of what we determined.
So it sounds like it's not really something under our jurisdiction. It's more of a highway department issue, perhaps.
Yeah, I would think so. And the stagnant pool is not large enough for it to be a jurisdictional wetland under the Shutesbury bylaw even. So I don't think we would really play a role in decision making.
Right.
Right.
I guess it would only be if that drainage flowed into a valid wetland.
Mhm.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that. Okay. Status of certificate of vote. So I did my part, Linda. I went and had it notarized with Susie.
Yes. Let's see. Yes, so I first learned that it was going to cost the town or the commission $105 to have the certificate of vote recorded at the Registry of Deeds. And then when I was at, let's see, when I was, I guess, yeah, I was reviewing, I didn't, a week ago, I did not attend the weekly MSCP workshop, but I watched it later, and I learned there that one registry of deeds in another part of the state had waived the recording fee for a certificate of vote. So I thought, well, why not ask? So I was fortunate to call the registry earlier this week when Scott Cody, the Franklin County Register, was in the office, and he asked me to have Susie email the certificate of vote to him, as well as send him the hard copy, and that he would waive the fee. And so we're just waiting to hear back from him. So yeah, it was really, really nice. And what he said is that, I learned this information through the land use attorney's guidance during the MSMCP webinars, and KP Law had published a document outlining all the steps, and there was a ruling by the the state registrar's office, I don't remember the official title, about this procedure. Scott Cody explained that recording a certificate of vote is actually putting together a certificate of vote is the best practice. He doesn't feel that it's essential, but that it is best practice. So we're good. We're good to go when the time comes to sign something. We're all set. You can do it.
Good.
I do have a couple of
MSMCP news.
Yeah, I have a couple of other updates. So just that, again, lots of the people on the webinars and the attorneys are very supportive and recognizing that it's important for commissions to try to establish protocols to keep things moving as best as possible, acknowledging that just as you voted last time, that that complex cases with a lot of broader interest are very difficult to manage by Zoom. But to try to do some things that you can manage so that everything isn't going to be within that 45-day period after the state of emergency is ended. Just it continues to be a really helpful learning opportunity for me to go. Let's see, DEP has adjusted their forms to allow space to type in, that a commission has voted a certificate, to use electronic signatures, to put a statement in. They created room on the signature pages to do that. They also suggested that if the commission does decide to do a public hearing, that you could, for a notice of intent, that you could break up the public hearing to focus on specific aspects within, sequential meetings, so that you don't feel like you have to do the whole thing in one setting when there's could be a lot of material to look at. So other than some other details, I think that's the update for now.
So one of the things that came up in my mind as I was trying to look at the paperwork from, I guess it's the next topic we will talk about, is the 32 Lake Drive project, is that I find it really hard to absorb all of the detail when I'm looking at these little tiny site plans. Usually we're given a much larger scale document, and I don't know if that original document that was emailed to us was actually a bigger document, but I'm wondering if to make it easier, if there's some way for us to have full-size copies of those things.
So
what are you doing? Are you scanning them and sending them?
No. So so do you want to just go on to that item so that we can just talk about the logistics of how that happened? Is that okay?
Well, do you want,
or do you want to?
Why don't you finish up? We can talk about that when we get to the,
okay. So what is happening? So what is happening right now with the Chapter 53, Section 17, is that applicants can file electronically. So in this particular case that you're going to talk about, I coached the applicants. They filed with DEP via eDEP. So that way that took care of their filing there. They could pay their DEP fee electronically, and they're all set. And it saved them having to submit paper copies to DEP because there's nobody there to get them. I mean, there are people there, but anyway. And for commissions, they submit electronically. So everything that you received was submitted by the applicants to me, and then the official procedure during this time frame that we're in is that the application also goes to the town clerk's office, and the town clerk's receipt is basically the date time stamp on the receipt of the document. Because we're in the state of emergency, the document is automatically tolled so that the usual 21-day period that the commission has to open a public hearing when a notice of intent is received, that is suspended. So the applicants also mailed their application to the town hall. So there is actually a physical copy in the Concom box. So that's how applications are coming forward. In this case, I asked them, because of the electronic submission, I asked the applicants to have their engineer create a blow up of the actual house lot site plan. In other words, you have the whole document, which is your usual septic system document with all the details about the septic system and so forth. But in this case, he took the one area and added more detail and blew that up so you'd have something easier to look at. So that's what, you know, that's what we have right now. And there is a physical set in the town hall in the box.
And it's small like this? Or is it?
It's full size documents, full size. You know, like a usual site plan, which is 24 by 36, I believe. Yeah, yeah. So they have to submit, you know, the full size, but because where we are right now, submitting electronically, so that if the commission chose to hold a public hearing, you'd be able to see the documents, and you can expand them and blow them up to be able to see quite a bit of detail.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay, I hadn't done that.
Yeah, if you use the little magnifier and plus, plus, and you can really get it to be quite good. And the resolution on these are on these documents is good, so that doesn't get blurry.
Okay. Okay. I just, you know, when I looked at that site plan, it just seemed to me that a huge amount of information was being displayed on a very tiny 8.5 by 11 sized paper.
Yes, yes.
And we don't have Linda's wonderful coloring on it to show us where everything is.
I know, and I, you know, if you decide to move forward with this hearing, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Liam, but there's the annotating function in screen share. So Liam, if he would, or, you know, it's harder for me to do it because of the other things that I'm doing, but
Right.
can actually highlight things right on the site plan, on the screen.
Oh, okay.
I don't have much experience. I've not done it, but I could look into it so that if we did hold a public hearing, I wasn't doing it for the first time.
Yeah. So yeah, we practice. We haven't done this site plan, but we occasionally in the MSMCP meetings, someone puts up an activity chart. So we're like children, you know, like, have you done this and have you done this, and and so we use the annotating function and you know, check mark or put stars or whatever. And last week I learned that you can erase your.
Oh. So if you mess up your annotation, you can amend it.
You can amend it, right? Right. So when you screen share, when you turn on screen share, like if you were going to share something now, and then you go, actually, if you all, let's see, if you all go to the bottom of your screen where it says screen share, see that?
Yeah.
And so if you put it up, if you put up screen share, well, we don't have a document right now. So, wait a minute.
Here we go.
Wait a minute.
Can you see what I just shared?
Hang on. I need to get I need to get out of it. Hang on. Yes, there you go. See? And so if you go up to the top where it says view options,
Yeah.
okay, because all the rest of us say our green bar says you are viewing Penny Jake's screen, and under view options, if you click that drop down, you can see where it says annotate, and if you click on annotate, it gives you a bar of little things that you can do. Oh, Penny, you're in the wrong spot.
You said
It's at the top of your Zoom screen.
Where the green screen share bar is.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. See, someone wrote on your screen, wrote on it already.
Okay, that was me.
Yeah.
I got a thing on mine. It says you cannot start screen share while the other participant is sharing.
Right. Yeah. So just
Do I hit OK?
go up in the left hand corner. There's a red dot. Click
Yeah.
that. You'll get out of there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see.
See?
Oh, somebody highlighted the well. Fabulous. And yes, I noticed that the new well for this property is essentially on the lake edge. I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Is that you doing the drawing?
I'm drawing.
Isn't it fun? So so this is
Okay, I'm getting distracted. Sorry.
This is the a tutorial of what's possible now in when, if you were to have a public hearing for this case, what you can do in the context of the meeting to be able to talk about the plans.
And is this how you do a signed document online?
No, that if you were to vote, say the commission decided to issue an order of conditions, you would vote that, and then you'd say we agree to do this by electronic signatures, and then I would type in your names for you.
Okay.
Yep. So, okay.
Okay, well, that was fun. Thank you. I'm going to stop
How
sharing.
do we get out of here now?
At the top, there's a green bar with, or at least on my screen, there's a green bar with an ID number and a stop share in red. And
My green bar says you are viewing Penny Jake's screen.
I'm stopping the share.
Okay.
Bingo.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
How do we go back? Oh, okay.
Okay, everybody good?
Yeah. Okay, Linda, the next, did you have other news to?
No, I think.
And then you have WPA form update in this same.
Oh,
group.
that was just to say that that DEP fixed the signature pages on all the relative documents that would ultimately be recorded by the applicants at the Registry of Deeds to allow us to type in the vote to use electronic signatures.
Okay.
Before there wasn't space to do that, so that was added. Yep. Yep.
Okay, so now I guess we need to decide whether we feel like we can do a reasonable job on the notice of intent for 32 Lake Drive, which has been submitted, right?
Yes, it's submitted, yes.
And Mark Stinson has made comments.
Yep.
And so it has a file number, it has comments. Mark asked them to do some additional things, and we have not done a site visit there yet, so that would be part of all of this. As a group, do we feel ready to take on a notice of intent electronically?
We have the power to do the e-signature.
Mm-hmm.
We have that. We would need to hold a public hearing, right?
Right. I think To me, I'm a little hesitant about this, and I think it's just feeling a little bit of anxiety. Normally, when we would look at generally, this is a fairly complicated project for us. A lot of our projects are someone putting on a deck, or someone doing some other minor thing. But when someone is doing a well and a septic system and a full foundation, all within the buffer zone of the lake, which is what this project is. It's a lot of things for us to look at and consider. And when I think about doing that electronically, I just feel a little uncomfortable. But, I can rise to the occasion if the rest of you feel like we can do it.
I don't feel like I have enough experience to argue one way or the other. So I'm sort of trusting you, Penny.
And you can, I'll just add, sitting back, you'll be able to do a site visit, more than one if you need to. You can take your time. You don't have to try to do it all in one evening if you don't feel,
So my understanding was, if we felt the applicant had presented all of the information that we needed, then we needed to deal with it in one night.
Well, yes, if you feel that you have all the information that you need, that's one thing. But if you have, it's recognized that it is more challenging to do your work in a virtual setting for a lot of reasons. And so, so
yeah.
I'm just saying that, to not feel pressure to, and I did not add this to the list, but I have also this is important to add at this point, is that and I sent around to you all, I updated the templates for a butter notification and for the legal notice to reflect the virtual platform, that it's, participation is to the public is by remote participation only. And so, again, trying to do what we need to do. And I learned about all of this and through MSMCP and that other people shared their templates with those of us who had yet to do it, because you can imagine some of the larger municipalities have to keep going with a lot of things.
Right.
So,
right.
So you have both of those there to look at. If you haven't had a chance, maybe Liam can put them up just so you can see them.
Let's see. Thought I had downloaded them.
But, one of the things I find challenging about this is I think I have 12 documents open on my laptop right now, and I can never get the right one in the right place at the right time.
So here's the NOI abutter notice.
Yes, I printed out a copy of that.
So probably Penny might be the only one who's really familiar with what it looked like before.
So really the only thing that is different is F, is that correct?
Yeah, yep, F, and I just changed the language around in terms of, in other words, before at the very bottom, it included the Conservation Commission hours. I've streamlined, a lot of the upper part and included the F portion is language that was recommended to be included specifically in the notice. So
Okay.
there's
Well,
that.
Do we want to look at the other one too?
yes, please.
Just a moment. There it is.
Right, so this has explanatory detail at the top and at the bottom, and in the middle is the actual legal notice language. And again, that first paragraph is essentially the same, except that it says, instead of at Shutesbury Town Hall, it says by remote participation only. And then that bottom paragraph, which is completely new, that is required now.
Which is the one that starts with public
Yes,
participation will
yes,
be blah,
yep.
blah, blah.
And you'll notice actually on both this and the abutter template that it says that the application may be viewed at shutesbury.org/concom. So we have to get the notice, the narrative, and the site plans on the webpage.
Oh boy.
Yep.
So that goes on our webpage for any notice or
Yeah.
request.
Yes, actually, the new the current recommendations are really to put all applications on the commission's webpage. Yeah.
Somebody's going to be doing a lot of work.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, yeah.
Well, I think both of those look fine from my perspective.
Yeah, I did not see them as they were before, but seems to meaningfully communicate what's going on in the world.
Yes, the old ones are on the webpage. So anyway.
Great. I will
How
stop
how
share.
straightforward is it to get an abutter list from the assessor's office right now?
It's less straightforward. It is less straightforward. I think that it took, I think that it probably took these folks maybe a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks. Yeah, because I had not heard from them, and I had asked them to please let me know when they received the list, and I hadn't heard from them, so I checked in today and they had just received it.
Well,
The day before. So they're just now ready to, to send out abutter notices if you set a hearing date.
All right, I will stop.
Thanks. Thanks, Liam.
Yeah.
So I gotta say, Linda, I would have much preferred doing this for the first time with a request for a back porch being added.
I know. Yeah, I
Just to sort of get our feet under us on this.
know. Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big, steep learning curve. I wouldn't necessarily have thought too much without going to the MSMCP weekly Zooms. There's so much that I wouldn't have been aware of or really thought about.
Mhm.
So I'm really grateful for the work that the folks, the agents in other that are the agents in the eastern part of the state are doing
Hmm.
to help everybody else.
Mhm. Oh, that's really great.
Yeah.
Well, thoughts, other commissioners?
I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed with information currently, I suppose. That's my thought. But so I
I
don't know if
second
I
his thought.
have.
I think it's gonna take a couple of them until you can figure it out, and then you'll feel comfortable with it. By that time, they'll open up the state again.
Right.
Well,
And I don't suppose you have any insight into when that might be, Linda.
no, I don't. And you know, when that time comes, there's the ANRADs.
Yes, I know.
So,
I know.
so I'm not, it's up to you, but that's the sort of feeling I'm just carrying, is an awareness of, trying to do some things. And so,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess maybe my thought would be trying to go forward with working through this NOI and then just seeing how it goes. Like, as you said, not putting pressure on us as commissioners to make it happen within a really tight deadline. But like you said, the ANRADs, once we can have those public hearings, are going to be a lot. So it would be good to be able to clear space for those.
Yes.
Agreed.
Can we change our mind halfway through the NOI hearing, Linda?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I bet we can't.
probably, I don't have an answer to that. I don't. I don't think so.
I'm wondering if
I don't think you can. If it was opened before March 10th, like the ANRADs, then they can be continued. If an application comes in during the state of emergency, it's automatically told, but the commission has the discretion to move forward.
But once we move forward, we can't toll it again.
Correct.
What do you think about the idea of doing a site visit before deciding?
So,
Is that legal?
I don't see, I think that you could do the site, I think so. You could do the site visit, but you can't decide. You'd have to wait till the next meeting to decide,
Right.
okay? Because you can't decide at the site visit. That's deliberation. So if you had a site visit, you would then decide on your July 11th meeting to have the public hearing on June 11th, and then to have a public hearing on June 25th.
Well, I'm willing to try that.
Yeah, that feels good to me. So
Yeah.
with that in mind, would we perform a site visit between now and June 11th and then
Yes.
decide to hold the public hearing on June 11th?
And then decide on June 11th to hold the public hearing on June 25th.
Okay. I think that sounds like a good approach to me.
I always find, sometimes when you look at the plan, well, let me say that the other way. Things are often revealed when you're on the site that are hard to see when you're looking at the plan. So I think it'll be easier to feel more comfortable or less comfortable with this after we've been to the site.
That makes sense.
Linda?
Yeah, new territory.
Yeah.
You know, and it's new territory. So I, I've given up typing. I'm writing notes now because I can't. I can talk and write better than I can talk and type. So I think, you know, the applicants understand that it is up to, it's the commission's discretion. So I can email them and let them know that, you know, once you decide about, if you give me a site visit date
Mhm.
and time, I can let them know. I believe they're in Boston. But I can
Are they working with an engineer who's putting the plan together?
Yes, Jeff LeBeau. Yes,
Contractor?
yes. And he's Springfield, I think, something like that.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's Springfield, says it on the plan.
Thanks. Yeah, so I can, you know, once you tell me what you think about a site visit day and time, then I will let them know that you need to do that in order to figure out whether you can hold the public hearing remotely.
Okay. Do we want to wait and talk about site visit dates at the end of the meeting? Are there other things?
There are no other site visits, so this is the only
What
one.
about the Hartwell?
Oh yeah, right. That's next.
Okay. So I did see the map that Hartwell provided. That one I could not enlarge easily. I tried.
Yeah, no, that
It was
one
really
is,
hard for me to read what was on there.
yeah,
That was the photo, right?
yes. Mr. Hartwell wrote to me this afternoon to say that he obtained a physical copy of the plan that document, and that he would be dropping it by town hall. There's a new Dropbox out front that's being installed. Was either installed today. I think it's installed today, if not tomorrow. So he's going to bring it by. So they'll actually, if you want, there's the paper version.
Well, I'm happy to go take a look at it. I presume Susie Susie or Grace would have that. Be able to provide.
I'm not sure. Yes, but he won't be bringing it by until, I would imagine, sometime over the weekend, because he's just getting it on Friday evening.
Okay. Well, what if we did site visits on something like the 8th or 9th of June, Monday, Tuesday?
I think I can make that work.
Robin and Russ?
I'm free, I believe.
Okay. What time of the day works better for all of you?
I like the morning, but that's just a personal preference.
I need to run and look at a calendar. I don't know, I had all my medical appointments keep getting pushed back, and one got pushed back, and I can't remember if it was to June 8 or July 8. It might be July, but I'm gonna run and just grab the calendar.
Okay.
Where is that? Is that on, that's 32 Lake Drive?
Yes. Liam, do you have classes this summer?
No.
What's that?
Hey,
I've been talking about I'm going to do work for Franklin Land Trust this summer
Are you?
for an internship. So that should be starting in a couple weeks. I have to kind of work. It's for my degree program, so I have to set up this learning contract between my advisor and Franklin Land Trust and myself. So that's kind of what I'm going through right now. But hopefully I'll actually have something to do soon.
Nice.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
quickly, I'm back. Available June 8 and 9.
Well, how about if we say, why don't we give the property owner, or should we just pick a date, Linda? What do you think?
Pick a date.
Let's say the 9th, Tuesday the 9th at 10 o'clock. Would you prefer earlier, Liam?
No, 10's great.
Okay,
And is fine.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And maybe other things can happen then as well, as long as they're not too many and they're not too scattered.
Right. Right. So it would be, the first one would be 32 Lake, and
Right.
then
Hartwell,
Hartwell. Yeah.
and then potentially something else up in that end of town if something unfolds.
Yes. Yes. And my goal when I contact people is to speak with them about, physical distancing and wearing masks.
Okay.
Okay.
So are we ready for 483 Wendell Road, Carlson's BPA? Are you ready, Linda?
Yeah, that's just, I put that on just for, just the formality of the site visit follow-up
Okay.
and the BPA sign off.
Did I send you a PDF of that? I know I filled out a site form. I can't remember whether I scanned it or not.
I don't think you scanned it. I think you sent me an email saying to
Sign.
yes. Yeah, so that's all done. And then do you want me to keep going? Okay. And then 375 Locks Pond Road, you all may remember, those are the folks who came to the very last meeting that we had in person. And then they subsequently changed their plans. Instead of putting in a full basement, they decided to just redo the piers and redo that section of the house. And so they didn't need to file an RDA, but they needed to put in erosion control. The one thing that had yet to happen was an update on their building permit application. They submitted updated plans, and I wrote to them. They wrote and said, can you sign off? And when I checked, the updated plans were there, but the actual building permit application narrative had not been changed. And so subsequently that was done. So I signed off. I had spoken with Penny and I signed off on that building permit with the conditions that were originally established by the commission regarding erosion control, creating a limit of work area to prevent any erosion into the buffer zone for the stream, the stream.
Into the stream itself.
Into the stream itself, yep.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that.
29 Leverett Road.
Okay, so that is just, there was Michael Pill who, that 25 Leverett Road is for sale. and Michael Pill's property abuts it, and he apparently there's going to be a new septic system put in there as part of the sale, and so that's just really a heads up that there may be an RDA for this. There's your RDA, Penny. And he had a records request to see if there were any notices of intent or orders of condition issued for that property. And I searched the DEP database, which runs from current day back to 1999, and there was nothing there. So anyway, that's that.
Okay. Okay, Locks Pond Road culvert replacement.
Okay, so this is the culvert that runs under Locks Pond Road at the dam. So it's the spillway going under the road, which goes into a tributary of the Sawmill River. You know where I'm talking about, everybody?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
So this project has been in process for quite some time. Last year, in preparation for this, the Wendell Road culvert was replaced so that when traffic is diverted, when this culvert is being done, traffic will have to be diverted down Wendell Road. So that was done in preparation. And then there's funding which fell into place. So the town is working with Niche Engineering to do all the design work. And so they've had meetings with Becky Torres, the town administrator, and Tim Hunting of the highway superintendent. And I was in one of them early on, just to make a connection, Concom connection. So I received an email and had a phone conversation with one of the engineers maybe about 2 weeks ago, and that notice of intent is going to be forthcoming.
That's
he wanted an update on where the commission was at, given the state of emergency and remote participation. I explained that all to him, and he said they're also finding their way into how to do things. So I'm not sure when that's going to come, but it is going to be coming in the near future.
Do you know offhand what methodology they chose to pursue for repairing that culvert?
It's a replacement. It's a replacement.
Replacement.
Yep. And so I don't know, not having seen it, so I don't know what their recommendations are going to be regarding dewatering and all of that. So we'll see when it comes in.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Fire department silt fence.
Yep. So I Penny, you want to take the lead on that?
Okay, so last year, the town dug a new well and laid a very, very long pipe or pipes from that well, which is somewhere behind the highway department. Is that right?
Yeah.
Went under the road
Yes.
and to at least one home on the other side of the road because there had been some sort of salt contamination of their well. And to do the trenching, which a portion of it ran along a wetland by the fire station, they installed silt fence and hay bales. And to the best of my understanding, that project is complete. Is that correct, Linda?
Yes, yes.
And so I requested that at least the portion of the silt fence and hay bales that are along, is it Leverett Road there?
Yes, yeah.
Leverett Road be removed. They don't need to be there anymore and they're quite unsightly.
Yeah, and so I wrote Becky an email regarding that. And my sense is that I'll need to follow up.
Yep. I think all the people in town hall are just keeping their head above water.
Yes, yes. Everybody, it is, everybody just breathing as best as possible. And to boot, the phones, the town hall phones are down, have been down all day. And I believe their email is not working either. Internet, excuse me. So yeah, adding another burden. So I will follow up, and as far as I know, the fire department paving project is, still on the table for some point. So leaving the remainder of the erosion control in place makes sense.
Right, I agree, although it's in very bad shape.
Yep, I know.
Okay,
Okay.
ANRAD document update.
Yeah, I just put that there just in case there was a placeholder.
Yeah.
For anything.
I actually have a question of my fellow commissioners here. I think we've gotten updated maps for all 4 sites at this point. Is that right, Linda? Has the Baker Road one come in yet?
One
Yes,
of
it
them,
does.
So,
Yes.
one of them, I think it's the Baker one, is not that it was I'm not sure now.
I think the Baker one is done. I remember I looked at
Yeah.
that one. I looked at the Montague one.
I guess it's the Montague one that's not, one of them was preliminary because this follow-up hadn't been done yet.
You mean Emily hadn't gone back out?
Right.
Right, Emily, yes, the Baker Road one is being visited. It just got moved from Friday to Monday.
Baker or Carver?
Carver.
Carver. So
Yeah.
Carver's the one that's still preliminary.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Well, my question is, for those of you who went on visits with the TRC representative and Emily, did you look at the original map versus the new map? I'm just curious if you saw substantial changes.
the
With
Baker
the
Road
Pratt-
one, they were, it was increased a lot. But that was discussed a lot when we were out in the
Right.
field.
That I looked at that one, and I haven't gone back and looked at the original one, but it seems to be almost 50% wetlands at this point.
Well, when I was out there with them, she was having, him reflag some perimeters and it was expanded pretty much.
Yeah.
And I remember, he was kind of feeling bad. He was like, but this wasn't wet. And she's like, I trust you. This was not wet in October. That was anyway, they were mutually supportive, but it was general agreement. It was going to be increased a lot.
Yep. What about Liam? Have you compared the two at all?
I did for Pratt East, which there is a new wetland in the center of the site, which the way that we left it at the end of the walk was that Greg was going to go and test the site that was potentially a wetland. But he basically, Emily was like, I think this is probably a wetland, but I want you to make sure that the soils are hydric and the conditions are right. So there is a new wetland in the center of the site, but it's pretty small. I did not check for Pratt West yet. But I know that there was a fair amount of expansion there. I don't think it was as significant as Baker.
Yeah,
So,
the one that I'm most familiar with is the Carver one, and boundaries were expanded quite a bit, but not, I think, perhaps not as much as the one on Baker Road.
mhm.
So, well, I hope to go out with Emily and Maria on Monday when they do Carver Road, just to watch them in action again. So I did talk, or didn't talk, I emailed with Emily at one point and just reminded her that we were hoping to have her final report at least a week before the meeting at which these are scheduled to be continued, at least for this point, although it sounds like there's a good chance they'll be continued again due to the state of emergency, but okay. Well, happy not to be talking about these in an official sense tonight.
So I can tell you that we've had two volunteer inquiries. I mentioned one last week, and then this week, a gentleman named Aiden Blum, who is new to Shutesbury, and he has worked with Southeast Michigan Land Conservancy as a volunteer preserve watcher and photographer. And he's interested in the work of the commission. So he was going to come tonight, except he had something come up.
Mhm.
And also, there's an email from, I'm looking for a volunteer. A woman named Shyla Davis inquired of the commission. She is a UMass graduate in natural resources conservation, and she's looking to have an informational interview with someone and about starting an environmental career. And so she wrote to me, but I'm not the person to do that.
Well, I'm not, we're all volunteers, so this isn't really a career path for any of us.
Right, I know. I can handle it if you want. I don't know.
I am happy to meet with her, given I was a professor in that department and I've done environmental jobs ever since I got out of college.
So,
Fabulous.
great, thank you. So I'll forward her email to you, okay?
Okay,
All right, thank you, Robin.
sure.
Wonderful. Yes, perfect. Yay. So, and you've all received the emails about MACC webinars.
Yep.
So, if there are any with fees, let me know so I can, do the paperwork for you. If you
So I
want.
did participate in the one on solar farms this week. It was
Oh.
very interesting. It was taught, or it was led by a woman who recently got her PhD at UMass in I forget what the program is, the climate change group on campus. And she, her degree was in, her area of research had to do with alternative energy. And she's also on, I can't remember whether it's the Wendell or the New Salem Conservation Committee.
Oh,
Is this Zara Dowling?
Yeah.
Yeah, she's great and really knowledgeable.
Yeah.
She's personally looked into the smart regulations, and I
Right.
wrote
And
a paper about it last
that is
fall.
exactly what she talked about, was the changes in the smart regulations, which were very, very interesting. As we have these solar farms coming before us, it's interesting to see what the incentives are that are given to the developers to make them interested in coming to our little remote town and putting in a solar farm. So it will be online. If you're interested, I urge you to, it's kind of dry material, but it's at the same time very interesting. And it sounds like, Liam, you already know a fair amount about this.
Yeah, I wrote a research paper about it because I was feeling interested and slightly concerned about, like upland forest being cut for solar farms. It seems a
Mhm.
little bit oxymoronic. And the smart regulations don't necessarily seem to do enough to disincentivize it. And, with the new updates, I think they increased the disincentive. So basically, you lose money if you're putting in a solar farm on a forested area, but there's still no limit to how many acres of forest can be cut down for solar farms. So it's still a purely financial thing.
Well, yeah, but many towns are getting savvy at this point, and they have developed bylaws that put some constraints on that. So it was interesting. I guess one of the things that jumped out at me was that there's a big push by the state to do more alternative energy, which is a wonderful thing. And different utility companies are given certain, I don't know quite how it works. Basically, they're allotted a certain number of projects, and all of the projects were used up in the western part of the state, but the eastern part of the state had lots of surplus opportunities to put in solar farms. And somehow they've merged them all together. So now the numbers have been increased, which to me is going to put more pressure on the western part of the state to provide more solar farms to supply the eastern part of the state. And that was kind of an interesting thing.
Mm.
Anyway, it was very informative to watch, especially in light of what we're doing now with the ANRADs, which it appears are going to, resurface soon thereafter as special permit projects for the planning board once we finish with what we're doing. So I really enjoyed it. And so it's Zara, is that her name?
Yeah, Zara Dowling.
So she was introduced by her sister Tessa, who works for Hilltown.
I know Tessa too. I didn't know
Yeah.
they were related though.
They're sisters. That was just a funny little aside. Anyway, I won't dwell on that. But anyway, I urge you to keep an eye on the webinars, and if there's one that looks like it's interesting or useful to you, sign up.
Okay.
Okay, open space plan and recreation plan. Ugh.
Yes, yes. Well, way back, we were thinking, we're going to take that up at the beginning of the year. Well,
Yeah.
and what I learned, I participated in one of the community resiliency building workshops as part of the municipal vulnerability preparedness grant, and there were folks from FERCOG in our group, and I learned that FERCOG is going to be helping Shutesbury update their open space and recreation plan. Who knew? So I don't know any more than that. It's on my list of things to ask Becky about, but we just take what's on top, and that has been on top. But anyway, I just wanted you to know, Penny, that we might not have to do anything.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yes. Yeah.
I was kind of looking forward to that at some point.
Well, there may be something I don't know, but I just kind of felt a little relieved, like, oh, kind of forgot about that. And anyway, so there's that. And then current financials, I'll just give you the numbers. And so there, in the Concom expense line, there is $531.80. We don't have any particular expenses, so that money will go back into the general fund at the end of the fiscal year. The other accounts remain in the Conservation Commission's coffers, so to speak. So the local wetlands fund has $1,089.78. Wetland protection has $5,269.53.
Thanks to the ANRADs.
That's thanks to the ANRADs. Yep.
Mhm.
The trust fund has $83,344.35. And the Sumner Mountain Stewardship Fund has $361 minus $325. That's the Charlie's.
Can you
current
say
figure.
those numbers again?
Sure. Concom expense,
Just the Sumner Mountain.
oh, sure, so sorry. 3,601.
Okay, you said 300 and it made
Oh,
me.
so sorry. Yeah, 3,601 minus 325.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. And it's, I had, under different circumstances, hoped that some action could be taken on the top of the lake project during the fiscal year, but I
Yeah.
guess that's just not going to happen.
I was thinking about that in the middle of the night. Yeah. Because we were supposed to do a Chapter 91 license.
Right. Well, we'll do that at some point.
And Penny,
Yeah.
I know that your term is going to come to an end.
No.
I vote that we keep her on.
And I don't know if you're prepared to talk about that now. I just wanted to acknowledge that and where we are and everything that's up. And if you've had any thoughts about that.
Well, I have thought that I kind of hate to leave in the midst of all this this angst, and not just at this time when we have all these big ANRADs in front of us and everything is so difficult. And that's all I can say at this point.
Thank you. I just, it was important to me to acknowledge,
I mean, I still feel like I will be available even after I resign to work on the top of the lake and other things. And perhaps I might stay just a little bit longer till we get through the ANRADs, because it sounds like it's going to be a bit longer.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Penny.
I have a question for you. Were you part of the select board meeting that discussed the open space bylaw and the solar bylaw?
Yes, of course, I was taking minutes. Yeah.
How did those discussions go? I had meant to be part of that meeting to listen in, and I never got anything official about it, and it just slipped my mind.
Okay. So the purpose of that, this was on Tuesday evening for everybody else. It was a select board meeting, and 3 members of the planning board were present. Deacon Bonner, the chairperson, Michael DeCara, and Jeff Lacey. And the purpose was for them to basically present the proposed amendments to the sign bylaw, the sign regulations, the open space design, which is Article 5, and the ground mounts, large scale ground mount solar array section, which I think is 8.10, to present those proposed amendments to the select board, provide the select board with an opportunity to ask any changes. So what they did was, went through each one, highlighted the changes, questions were asked, and that purpose is for the select board to receive and then return the amendments to the planning board so that planning board can subsequently set their public hearing date to be held in advance of annual town meeting.
And I'm just curious how they were received by how the open space and solar bylaw modifications were received by the select board.
there were some questions, just, seeking understanding. And, yeah. And that, recognizing that the real emphasis, part of the emphasis was on, that the public hearing will be coming, what the planning board will do, that we have their statutory requirements about how they have to notice about the public hearing, and getting the documents online and all of that, so that folks have an opportunity to attend, and that the public hearing itself will be recorded. So if people want to listen to it afterwards, they'll be able to do that. Yeah.
Well, good. I mean, I feel like both of those are things that have an impact on what the commission does. So
Yes, and there was
on top of it.
a Penny, I would like you to know that for both the solar and the open space, your contributions were recognized.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes.
Okay. Are there any items not anticipated by the commission other than the one I just brought up?
I don't think so. Not for me.
No?
Not for me.
I'm all set.
Okay, so Linda will be in touch with Hartwell, and I don't know how to pronounce the other person's name,
Yeah, Mikulajic.
about our site visit, and you'll confirm with us on that.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Yep.
And I hope everyone has a lovely evening.
Thanks, everyone.
too.
So you have to, do the formal,
So let's see. I'm so tired, I can't think of the right language. I propose, I move that we close our meeting. Can someone second?
I second.
All in favor?
I, Russ Missoula.
I, Robin Harrington.
Liam Krieg and I.
Penny Jakes, aye.
Thanks, everybody.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Linda, for everything.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks, everybody. So, yep, I'll follow up on things, and yeah. Okay.
Good night.
Sounds great.
Good night. Bye.
Care, everybody.
Here. See ya.
Bye, Russ.
Take care.
Bye, Robin. Thanks. Oops.